Welcome to a day in the Word. Today's reading is First Chronicles chapter 3 through First Chronicles chapter 4. First Chronicles chapter 3. Some of David's sons were born in the town of Hebron. This is a list of David's sons. David's first son was Amnon. Amnon's mother was Ahinoam. She was from the town of Jezreel. The second son was Daniel. His mother was Abigail from Carmel in Judah. The third son was Absalom. His mother was Maacah, daughter of Talmai. Talmai was a king of Geshur. The fourth son was Adonijah. His mother was Haggith. The fifth son was Shephatiah. His mother was Abtal. The sixth son was Ithream. His mother was Eglah, David's wife. These six sons were born to David in Hebron. David ruled as king in Hebron for 7 years and 6 months. He ruled as king in Jerusalem 33 years. These are the children born to David in Jerusalem. There were four sons from Bathsheba, the daughter of Amiel. They were Shemaiah, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. There were nine other sons. They were Ibhar, Elishua, Eliphalet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphalet. They were all David's sons. Their sister was named Tamar. David also had other sons by his slave women. Solomon's son was Rehoboam. Rehoboam's son was Abijah. Abijah's son was Asa. Asa's son was Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat's son was Jehoram. Jehoram's son was Ahaziah. Ahaziah's son was Joash. Joash's son was Amaziah. Amaziah's son was Azariah. Azariah's son was Jotham. Jotham's son was Ahaz. Ahaz's son was Hezekiah. Hezekiah's son was Manasseh. Manasseh's son was Ammon. Ammon's son was Josiah. This is a list of Josiah's sons. The first son was Johanan. The second son was Jehoiakim. The third son was Zedekiah. The fourth son was Shallum. Jehoiakim's sons were Jehoiachin, his son, and Zedekiah, his son. This is a list of Jehoiachin's children. After Jehoiachin became a prisoner in Babylon, his children were Shealtiel, Malchiram, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechemiah, Hoshama, and Nedabiah. Pedaiah's sons were Zerubbabel and Shimei. Zerubbabel's sons were Meshullam and Hananiah. Shelomith was their sister. Zerubbabel had five other sons also. Their names were Hashubah, Ohel, Berechiah, Hasadiah, and Jeshohesed. Hananiah's son was Pelatiah. His son was Jeshiah. His son was Raphaiah. His son was Arnan. His son was Obadiah. His son was Shechaniah. This is a list of Shechaniah's descendants. Shemaiah. Shemaiah had 6 sons. Shemaiah, Hattush, Igal, Bariah, Neriah, and Shaphat. Neriah had 3 sons. They were Eloniah, Hizkiah, and Azkam. Eloni had 7 sons. They were Hodavah, Elishib, Pelaiah, Ekub, Jehonan, Delaiah, and Anani. First Chronicles chapter 4. This is a list of Judah's sons. They were Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Hur, and Shobal. Shobal's son was Reiah. Reiah was Jahath's father. Jahath was the father of Ahumiah and Lahad. The Zorathites, the Zorathites are descendants of Ahumiah and Lahad. Etam's sons were Jezreel, Ishma, and Itbash. They had a sister named Hazielponi. Penuel was Gedor's father, and Ezer was Hushiah's father. These were Hur's sons. Hur was Ephrathah's first son, and Ephrathah was the founder of Bethlehem. Tekoa's father was Ashur. Ashur had 2 wives. Their names were Hilah and Nara. Nara had Ahazam, Hefer, Tamini, and Ahashatari. These were the sons of Nara. These were the sons Nahara had with Asher. The sons of Hilah were Zereth, Zohar, Ethan, and Kaz. Kaz was the father of Anub and Hazobeba. Kaz also was the father of the tribes of Aharhel. Aharhel was Haram's son. Jabez was a very good man who was better than his brothers. His mother said, I have named him Jabez because I was in much pain when I had him. Jabez prayed to the God of Israel and said, I pray that you would bless me and give me more land. Be near me and don't let anyone hurt me. Then I will not have any pain. God gave Jabez what he asked for. Caleb was Shua's brother. Caleb was Mahir's father. Mahir was Eshton's father. Eshton was the father of Beth Rapha, Paseah, and Tahina. Tahina was the father of Ir Nahash. These men were from Rekah. The sons of Kenaz were Othaniel and Sariah. Othaniel's sons were Hephah and Manothiah. Manothiah was Ophrah's father, and Sariah was Joab's father. Joab was the founder of Geharashim. The people used that name because they were skilled workers. Caleb was Jephunneh's son. Caleb's sons were Iru, Elah, and Naam. Elah's son was Kenaz. Jehalalel's sons were Ziph, Ziphah, Tiriah, and Asriel. Isra's sons were Jether, Mered, Epher, and Jalen. Mered was the father of Miriam, Shemaiah, and Ishbah. Ishbah was the father of Eshtemoa. Mered Mered had a wife from Egypt. She had Jared, Heber, and Jecthiel. Jared was Gedor's father. Heber was Soko's father, and Jecthiel was Zanoah's father. These were the sons of Bithiah. Bithiah was Pharaoh's daughter. She was Mered's wife from Egypt. Mered's wife was Naham's sister. Mered's wife was from Judah. The sons of Mered's wife were the father of Kilah and Eshtumoa. Kilah was from the Garmites, and Eshtumoa was from the Mechathites. Shimon's sons were Ammon, Renah, Ben Han, and Tilon. Ishi's sons were Zoheth and Beth Zoheth. Shelah was Judah's son. Shelah's sons were Ladad, Joachim, the men from Cosba, Joash, and Seraph. Was the father of Lekah. Lada was the father of Merishah and the tribes of linen workers at Beth Eshbeh. Joash and Seraph married Moabite women. Then they went back to Bethlehem. The writings about this family are very old. These sons of Shelah were workers who made things from clay. They lived in Netaim and Gedera and worked for the king. Simeon's sons were Nemuel, Jamin, Jareb, Zerah, and Shoal. Shoal's son was Shalom. Shalom's son was Mitsam. Mitsam's son was Mishma. Mishma's son was Hamuel. Hamuel's son was Zakur. Zakur's son was Shemaiah. Shemaiah had 16 sons and 7 daughters. But Shemaiah's brothers did not have many children. Shemaiah's brothers did not have large families. Their families were not as large as the other tribes of Judah. Shemaiah's descendants lived in Beersheba, Moldah, Hazar Shual, Bilhah, Azim, Toled, Bethuel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Markab, Hazar Suzim, Beth Beri, and Sharaim. They lived in these towns until David became king. The 5 villages near these towns were Etam, Ain, Rimmon, Token, and Ashan. There were also other villages as far away as Baalath. This is where they live, and they also wrote the history about their families. This is a list of men who were leaders of the tribes. They were Mashobab, Jamlech, Joshah, Amaziah's son, Joel, Jehu, son of Joshabiah, Joshabiah, son of Sariah, Seraiah, son of Asiel, Elonai, Jachobah, Jeshoiah, Asaiah, Adiel, Jeshmiel, Benaiah, and Zizah, Shifni's son. Shifni was Elon's son, and Elon was Jedediah's son. Jedediah was Shimri's son, and Shimri was Shemaiah's son. These men's families grew to be very large. They went to the area outside the town of Gedor, to the east side of the valley. They went to that place to look for fields for their sheep and cattle. They found good fields with plenty of grass. They found plenty of good land there. The land was peaceful and quiet. Ham's descendants lived there in the past. This happened during the time that Hezekiah was king of Judah. These men came to Gedor and fought against the Hamites. They destroyed the tents of the Hamites. They also fought against the Mennonites who lived there. These men destroyed all the Mennonites. There are no Mennonites in this place even today. So these men began to live there. They lived there because the land had grass for their sheep. 500 people from the tribe of Simeon went to the hill country of Seir. Ishi's sons led these men. The sons were Pelatiah, Neriah, Rephaiah, and Uzziel. The Simeonite men fought against the people living in that place. There were only a few Amalekites still living, and these Simeonites killed them. Since that time until now, the Simeonites have lived in Seir. Thank you for joining A Day in the Word Bible in a Year series. Please subscribe, comment, like, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. Until next time, shalom.